Yes, you should. There are so many advantages of buying an EV today. Firstly, we have so many brands and models of EV available from Tata to Rolls-Royce as well. You have small cars to cut the traffic, you have large cars for your family as well as long drives. Buying an EV means you are contributing to a good cause. Buying an EV means you are saving on your pocket as well. An EV will ask you for less maintenance as compared to an ICE. So if all these reasons are actually convincing for you to buy an EV, you should go and buy it. It wasn't right? Let's talk about it. Firstly, EVs were actually invented much before IC engines, but ICEs became more dominant and there was a reason for it. That was batteries. And even today, why are we discussing this question that should you buy an EV in 2025? The reason is majorly batteries. So let's talk about batteries first. When we talk about EVs and their batteries, one metric that comes in our mind, that is range. And then there are many issues that are linked with range. These issues are mainly because of the EV infrastructure of the country. At least in India, the tests that are done on EVs before they are launched, these tests are done in isolation. The same is applicable for ICEs as well. And that is why the claimed range or mileage of an EV or an ICE is always more than the actual range that we observe. Currently, most of the EVs are able to tell you the estimated range of the vehicle based on the battery percent as well as the driving style of the driver. However, these estimations are not accurate always. Even though companies apply so much of AI and machine learning to it, the actual range always remains either less or more. In most of the conditions, it is always less. So now you have an estimate that you know that when your car will die, but there is a possibility that the car might die sooner, and hence you make sure to find a charging station or reach your home before your EV dies. And this is where range anxiety comes in. You are always in a pressure if you will be able to reach to a charging station or not, because it's simple. If an IC engine car dies, you can ask for help and someone can give you some petrol. However, when an EV dies, as of now, you have limited options. These days, there are some products that are coming out which you can keep it in your boot. Those are like power banks for your car, but those are actually heavy and those are not convenient. Today, we have good number of charging stations. However, the ratio of number of EVs to the charging station is what is important. When we asked ChatGPT, it told us that the ratio of charging stations to EVs is 188 EVs per charging station. The global standards actually tell you to have a ratio of 6 to 20 EVs per charging station. So we have far long to reach that point. When we compare it to ICEs, actually the ratio is even bigger. We have 3,500 cars, bikes and all types of vehicles for one petrol station. However, at one time, multiple cars and bikes and all types of ICEs can fill petrol at one petrol station. But that's not the same case with an EV. So yes, charging stations are still a problem and the EV infrastructure of the country is still a problem. If you ever plan to go on a trip with your family in an EV and if your car is about to die, you will definitely find a charging station. However, you might have to wait because there might be some other car that is being charged, or you might have to take frequent stops. You might have to eat at restaurants, multiple restaurants, just because your EV is getting charged. So this is where convenience goes out of the question. Now we are living in a golden time for ICEs. Today's engines are so modern. Today's adventure bikes are so modern. And we are only speaking about the engines. The engines are efficient, sophisticated, for a reason. The pollution norms have become so strict. So many car manufacturing companies have actually stopped creating diesel vehicles. It is somewhere not economical or viable for them. When we speak about diesel engines, people actually love them, the grunt of it. However, you can happily own a diesel engine for say 10 years. That's what the norm says. So the ICE engines are today constrained when it comes to development. And that is the reason that they are perfect. When it comes to performance, they were even more perfect at the time of BS3. Like I'm talking about bikes, the bikes were awesome. So in future, you will see a time when IC engines will not be practical at all. And if you miss this golden opportunity, you will miss on a lot. So I think this is a time when you can enjoy both an EV as well as an IC. And this is also a time where more types of vehicles are being tested. We have startups in Bangalore which are testing on hydrogen vehicles for a long time. So definitely in next 10 years, you are gonna see a great transition towards a neutral state. So now what you should do then? Should you purchase an EV or an IC? I will give you some options. If you already have a car for your family, and if you are planning to get another, and if you can manage to get a private charging point for your EV at your home, then you should buy an EV. If you don't have a car and this is gonna be your first car, and you are living in a nuclear family or alone, and this car will be everything for you for a significant amount of time, you should buy an ICE. That was too complex, right? Let me simplify. Consider EV as a luxury, not a need. If you need a vehicle, buy an ICE. If you are transitioning from lower middle class to maybe upper middle class, and if you think a car can help you with this, buy an ICE. If you want a luxury and you don't have an absolute need of it, you just want something, buy an EV. If you want something that is modern but good on pocket as well, like it is efficient, you can check out hybrid vehicles as well. There are so many models available for hybrid vehicles as well. It increases the fuel efficiency while keeping you away from the range anxiety. Luxury is not opposite to need, but luxury is something that comes with inconvenience. Most EVs look modern and premium, but that shouldn't be the only reason for you to consider an EV. You should define your need properly and then decide if you need a vehicle, if you need an EV or an IC. If you buy an EV today, you will be creating the market ready for other people. But you should do that only when you can afford luxury, not when you are trying to find convenience. So I think this was all about the video, and I seriously don't want to talk about EVs that have caught fire and all. You can see petrol engines also do catch fire, and there are pros and cons. We are today not talking about features but practicality, and we are talking about convenience, we are talking about need, we are talking about luxury. Everyone wants features, but features do not increase practicality. Safety is something that you should not avoid, but are EVs safe? Yes, they are. How? That is another discussion. Thank you so much for watching.